Every time your payment goes through in less than a second, a silent decision is being made. Not by a bank teller, not by a human analyst, but by artificial intelligence. In today's digital money system, Ekasatu decides which transactions are trusted, which ones are blocked, and which ones are labeled as fraud, often before you even realize something happened. So the real question is, how does AI know the difference between a real user and a criminal? And what happens when that decision is wrong? Stay with us, because what happens behind your digital payments might change the way you trust money forever. The invisible brain behind digital payments. Every time you tap your card, scan a QR code, or send money through a digital wallet, something happens behind the scenes in less than a second. It's not just servers processing numbers. It's not just banks approving transactions. It's artificial intelligence making decisions in real time. In today's digital economy, money no longer moves alone. It moves with data, and data is now interpreted by AI tools. According to a 2026 insight published by MasterCard, artificial intelligence is helping banks save millions of dollars by transforming how payment fraud prevention works. And this transformation is not just about stopping criminals, it's about redefining trust in the digital money ecosystem. In this video, we're going to explore why payment fraud is becoming more complex, how AI tools are changing fraud detection, why traditional systems are no more longer enough, and what this means for banks, businesses, and everyday users like us. The rise of digital money and the fraud problem. Digital money has fundamentally changed how we interact with finance. Cashless payments are now embedded into daily life. Mobile banking, e-wallets, contactless cards, buy now, pay later services, real-time payments. The speed and convenience are undeniable, but with this convenience comes vulnerability. As digital payments increase globally, fraud has also evolved. Traditional fraud methods such as stolen cards or simple identity theft are no longer the main threat. Today's fraud is faster, more automated, more intelligent, and often powered by technology itself. Criminals now use synthetic identities, automated bots, social engineering, and even generative AI to imitate real users. This creates a dangerous imbalance. While digital money systems operate in milliseconds, traditional fraud detection systems were designed for a slower, simpler world. And this is exactly the gap that AI tools are now filling. Why traditional fraud detection nitrogen monoxide longer works? For years, banks relied on rule-based systems. These systems work like this. If a transaction is above a certain amount, flag it. If the location looks unusual, block it. If spending changes suddenly, investigate. While simple and easy to control, rule-based systems have major weaknesses. First, they are reactive. They only respond after fraud patterns are already known. Second, they produce high false positives. That means legitimate transactions are often declined, frustrating users and damaging trust. Third, they cannot adapt quickly. Fraud tactics change faster than rules can be updated. MasterCard's article highlights a critical point. As fraud becomes more sophisticated, static systems simply cannot keep up. This is where artificial intelligence becomes essential. How AI tools transform payment fraud prevention. Ekasatu. Tools work differently from traditional systems. Instead of following fixed rules, Ekasatu models learn from patterns. They analyze transaction history, spending behavior, device data, location signals, timing and frequency, network connections between accounts. All of this happens in real time. When a payment is made, Ekasatu evaluates the risk instantly, often in milliseconds, without disrupting the user experience. According to MasterCard, these AI-driven systems help financial institutions detect fraud earlier, reduce financial losses, and significantly lower false declines. This means fewer blocked legitimate payments and better protection against real threats. Machine learning and continuous learning. One of the most powerful aspects of Ekasatu tools in payment systems is their ability to learn continuously. Unlike traditional rule-based systems that rely on fixed instructions, machine learning models improve every time they interact with new data. In fraud prevention, learning never stops. Every confirmed fraud case becomes valuable training data. Each fraudulent transaction teaches the system what to avoid, what to question, and what patterns signal danger. At the same time, every legitimate transaction helps refine accuracy, showing the AI what normal, trusted behavior looks like. This constant feedback loop allows AI systems to evolve in real time. Over time, AI models begin to recognize subtle behavioral patterns that are almost impossible for humans to detect. For example, they can identify slight changes in transaction timing, spending frequency, or device usage that may indicate fraud even when the transaction amount itself looks completely normal. Kasatu can also identify anomalies that human analysts would easily miss. A single transaction may seem harmless on its own, but when analyzed in the context of thousands of data points, Kasatu can detect risk hidden beneath the surface. Most importantly, machine learning models can adapt to new and emerging fraud strategies. As criminals change their methods, Satu systems adjust without needing manual rule updates. This adaptability is critical in an environment where fraud techniques evolve faster than traditional security systems can respond. This dynamic learning process allows banks and payment networks to stay ahead of criminals rather than constantly reacting to fraud after the damage has already been done. According to MasterCard, this is why artificial intelligence is no longer a luxury or an experimental technology. It has become a strategic necessity. In a digital money ecosystem where transactions happen in milliseconds and fraud operates at scale, only intelligent, continuously learning systems can protect trust at the speed modern finance demands. Reducing false positives and improving user experience. Fraud prevention is not only about stopping crime. It is also about protecting something far more fragile in the digital money ecosystem: user trust. In a world where payments happen instantly, users expect the same speed and reliability every time they tap their card or click pay. So when a legitimate transaction is suddenly declined, the impact goes far beyond a simple error. Users feel frustrated. They may feel embarrassed when a payment fails in public. They may panic, wondering if their account has been compromised. And over time, repeated disruptions can slowly erode their confidence in digital payment systems. For merchants, the consequences are just as serious. A declined transaction often means a lost sale. In e-commerce, this can result in abandoned carts. In physical stores, it can lead customers to walk away entirely. And for banks and payment providers, false declines come with an even greater risk: losing customers. In today's competitive financial landscape, users can easily switch platforms. A single bad experience may be enough for someone to move their trust and their money elsewhere. This is where AI Satu tools make a critical difference. Unlike traditional rule-based systems that treat every anomaly as a potential threat, AI Satu understands context. It doesn't just look at what is happening, it looks at why it might be happening. For example, imagine a user traveling abroad. A traditional system might see a foreign transaction and immediately flag it as suspicious. But an AI-driven system can recognize travel-related patterns such as location changes over time, previous travel behavior, and device consistency. Or consider spending behavior during holidays. People naturally spend more during festive seasons. AK-Satu models trained on historical data understand that these temporary changes are normal, not fraudulent. Even large purchases, which were once an automatic red flag, can be evaluated more accurately. If a user has a consistent spending pattern and financial history that supports it, a Satu can recognize the transaction as legitimate. By reducing false positives, AI tools create a smoother, more reliable payment experience. Security remains strong, but it no longer comes at the cost of convenience. This delicate balance between protection and usability is one of the most important advantages highlighted in the MasterCard Insight. It proves that effective fraud prevention doesn't have to feel restrictive. It can be intelligent, adaptive, and user-friendly. Kesatu, kelima, Kesatu. The new battlefield. One of the most striking points in the article is that fraudsters themselves are now using Kesatu. Criminals use Kesatu to create realistic fake identities, automate attacks, generate convincing phishing messages, bypass simple security checks. This creates an arms race. Kesatu is no longer just a defensive tool. It is the only way to fight AI-powered fraud. Banks that fail to adopt advanced Kesatu systems risk falling behind in this technological battle. Saving millions, the economic impact. MasterCard reports that AI-driven fraud prevention systems help banks save millions of dollars annually. These savings come from reduced fraud losses, lower operational costs, fewer manual investigations, improved transaction approval rates. But the impact goes beyond money. Aksatu tools help preserve confidence in digital payments, which is essential for the continued growth of digital money. What this means for the future of digital money. The integration of AI into payment systems marks a turning point. Digital money is no longer just digital, it is intelligent. In the future, we can expect more predictive fraud prevention, deeper personalization, real-time adaptive security, and stronger global payment networks. However, this also raises concerns: data privacy, algorithmic bias, transparency in AI decisions. These challenges must be addressed through regulation, ethical Aksatu design, and accountability. Trust in the age of intelligent money. Aksatu is quietly reshaping how money moves. It decides which transactions are trusted, which behaviors are normal, and which actions are risky. As MasterCard's insight shows, Aksatu tools are not just improving fraud prevention, they are redefining trust in digital money. The future of finance will not belong to the fastest system, but to the smartest and most responsible one.